In Henan, boys' lungs rotten amid severe white lungs cases surge amid mycoplasma infections. Not only chips. China is buying up worldwide. A growing number of CCP officials have been charged with illegal possession of guns. ICBC utilized a customer's deposit to buy financial products without their permission. Is the CCP no longer pretending? Wang Yi publicly criticized Israel for 2 consecutive days. It's all covered in today's China Truths. In Henan, boys' lungs rotten amid severe white lungs cases surge amid mycoplasma infections. Amid a surge in mycoplasma pneumonia in mainland China and a significant increase in cases, especially among children, on October 11, Tencent News released a video showing an 8-year-old boy in Zhengzhou, Henan. The video revealed numerous lung cavities, raising suspicions of lung rot. The boy complained of severe back pain, which rendered him unable to move. A pediatric respiratory specialist at Henan Children's Hospital explained that the boy had a mycoplasma pneumonia infection combined with lung necrosis, resulting in cavities seen in medical imaging. These cavities resembled worm-eaten spaces, often colloquially referred to as lung rot. As previously reported, during the Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day holidays, the pediatric outpatient department of Beijing Century Alter Hospital remained open late into the night, witnessing a large influx of patients, most of them children. Some of these children, upon undergoing chest X-rays or CT scans, were found to have white lungs, a sign of mycoplasma pneumonia infection. According to a report from People's Daily Health client on October 11, many hospitals in Beijing, Chongqing, Shanghai, Henan, Hebei, and other regions have seen a significant rise in pediatric patients with mycoplasma pneumonia infections admitted since September. Several experts noted that the incidence of mycoplasma pneumonia infections peaked from September onwards, extending for over a month. On October 16, a Weibo account of a Chinese pediatrician warned that parents must be cautious because many children are infected with mycoplasma pneumonia in this period, and some of them have their lungs turn completely white. He added that he was not trying to scare anyone. Netizens, this wave of horror is caused by officials refusing to link it to COVID-19. Some netizens have witnessed that authorities do not permit attributing white lung cases to COVID-19. One netizen named an E shared that even if the X-ray shows white lung, they do not allow listing it as a complication caused by COVID-19, only other diseases can be listed for reimbursement. Some netizens believe new coronavirus is the most likely cause. They said, it might not necessarily be the new coronavirus infection. Other lung inflammations can also lead to white lung. However, during the new coronavirus epidemic, in the absence of other evidence, it's highly likely to be linked to the new coronavirus. If it's established that the new coronavirus is not the cause, then dealing with the high number of white lung cases becomes even more challenging. Not only chips. China is buying up worldwide. According to Apollo News Network, China is scouring the globe for wheat, with annual imports on track to hit record highs, as heavy rains have been damaging domestic crops. Traders said large quantities of wheat had been ordered this month from a number of other major producers, including the United States, Canada, and France, following a buying spree on Australian wheat earlier this year. Darren Friedrichs, co-founder of Cytonia Consulting Company, said that China's wheat imports will be strong in the future and will certainly exceed the annual quota. The Chinese government uses quotas to regulate imports of staple foods such as wheat. It allows the annual supply of 9.64 million tons of grain at a tariff of 1%, of which 90% is allocated to state-owned corporations. Above that limit, tariffs rise to 65%, a level that is usually out of reach for private buyers, but not for state-owned large companies. In the first 8 months of 2023, overseas procurement volume has reached 9.56 million tons, of which more than 60% comes from Australia. Traders said Chinese buyers are surveying Australia's upcoming harvest for future supplies and keeping an eye on crop conditions in other regions such as Kazakhstan. Arlen Suderman, chief commodities economist at StoneX Financial Incorporated, said that much of China's recent buying activity involves weather problems as this year's crops are near the harvest. he estimated that the continued rains would damage the quality of 30 million to 40 million tons of wheat. The deteriorating wheat is suitable for livestock feed, but not suitable for human consumption. China's official data shows that the country's summer wheat production fell by 0.9% this year to 134.53 million tons. This marks the first decline in 7 years. A growing number of CCP officials have been charged with illegal possession of guns. Recently, among the charges brought against former CCP officials, which include common allegations of corruption, bribery, and links to criminal organizations, one noteworthy accusation has emerged: illegal possession of firearms and ammunition. In a recent development, the Supreme Procuratorate of the CCP revealed on October 9 that Yi Libin, a former deputy secretary of the party committee and chairman of China Tobacco Henan, misused his authority for personal gain, accepting a substantial amount of unlawful gifts from others. Furthermore, he was found to be in illegal possession of firearms and ammunition, a grave offense. Public records indicate that Yi Libin, born in 1957 and a member of the Yi nationality, hails from Yongren, Yunnan. He held various important roles, including Deputy Secretary and Governor of the Yunnan Chuxiongyi Autonomous Prefecture, Party Secretary and Director of the Yunnan Provincial Department of Civil Affairs, and Deputy Secretary and Chairman of the Party Leadership Group of Yunnan China Tobacco Industry Company. He also served as a counselor to the Yunnan provincial government. As of now, the inspection bodies of the CCP have not provided detailed information regarding the extent of Yi Libin's illicit gains, the specifics of his firearm possession, or his motivations. Notably, Yi Libin has now joined the ranks of officials who have been dismissed on charges of illegal possession of firearms. Among them, Shi Wenqing, the former deputy director of the Jiangxi Provincial People's Congress of the Chinese Communist Party, received a suspended death sentence in August 2022. In March 2022, Yan Zhijian, the former vice chairman of Lanzhou City of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, was sentenced to 13 years in prison. In November 2021, Su Likun, the former Secretary-General of the Ningxia People's Congress of the Chinese Communist Party, was sentenced to 11 years in prison. Furthermore, in April 2019, Yu Meiyuo, who held the position of Deputy Secretary in Dehong Prefecture, Yunnan Province, was also dismissed from his role. Just last September, Sun Lijun, the former Deputy Director of the 610 Office of the Central Committee of the CCP and Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Public Security, received a suspended death sentence. Sun Lijun holds a significant role as the leader of the Sun Lijun political gang, and the charge of illegal firearm possession stands out. Another key member of the Sun Lijun political gang, former Minister of Justice of the CCP Fu Zhenghua, also faced the charge of illegal possession of firearms. His expulsion from the CCP in March of the prior year occurred while he held the position of Deputy Director of the Social and Legal Affairs Committee of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. Additionally, the charges against him encompassed accusations such as participation in cliques, formation of factions for personal gain, threatening party unity and centralization, and interference with central government policies. These descriptions suggest that the Sun Lijun political gang not only opposed Xi Jinping's leadership but also harbored ambitions to potentially stage a coup. While it is common for senior Chinese Communist Party public security officials like Sun Lijun to have access to firearms, the inclusion of the illegal gun possession charge may be linked to suspicions of subversive activities aimed at undermining the Xi Jinping administration. Observers speculate that this particular charge might be intended to set an example, as there is growing speculation about Xi Jinping's concerns regarding potential coups or assassination attempts. Reports from various media outlets have revealed that Xi Jinping, since assuming power in 2012, has faced numerous assassination attempts, with at least 10 documented incidents, including poisoning attempts, poison injections during medical checkups, staged traffic accidents, and even explosive devices planted in meeting rooms. Regarding the accusation of illegal gun possession, independent writer Zhuge Mingyang shared insights with the Epoch Times on October 12. Mingyang stated, the Chinese Communist Party strictly prohibits civilians from owning firearms and ammunition due to concerns about the potential rise of armed civilian groups, which could pose a direct threat to its rule. While it may not be feasible to attribute Sun Lijun and others' possession of firearms to a coup plot, Yi Libin, the former Deputy Party Secretary of China Yunnan Tobacco, lacks the capability and circumstances to be involved in a coup or assassination. Nevertheless, the prevailing atmosphere of fear about coup attempts and assassinations has made Xi Jinping and others cautious. This particular crime may be emphasized as a cautionary example for others. ICBC utilized a customer's deposit to buy financial products without their permission. On October 8, according to mainland media, Ms. Hu from Zhoukou, Henan province, brought her grievance to the public eye. She disclosed that her late husband's 100,000 yuan, about $13,677, deposit had been utilized by the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China without her consent, as she had gone to make a deposit. The bank employee handling the transaction redirected it into a financial product, which remains unrecovered to this day. Further investigations have raised suspicions of unlawful fundraising associated with the financial product. Ms. Hu also pointed out a notable anomaly. She displayed the original financial management contract bearing the signature Hu Xianhong, emphasizing that she had personally written those 3 words. However, the handwriting on the contract bore no resemblance to her own. ICBC's response to Ms. Hu's predicament maintained that the issue was the result of an individual employee's actions. Ms. Hu further revealed that bank staff resorted to threats, warning her that no matter how many complaints she lodged, they would be futile as the bank would oversee the process. This alarming incident drew widespread censure from netizens, with many questioning the accountability of financial institutions for the actions of their employees. Some voiced concerns such as, shouldn't banks be held responsible for their staff's actions? If bank employees can freely transfer funds without repercussions, does this set a dangerous precedent for depositors' money? And is this how banks openly rob their customers? Numerous individuals on social media platforms shared their personal and familial experiences with various banks, particularly the Postal Bank, highlighting a recurrent pattern of deceptive and coercive practices. They recounted stories of their family members being swindled into purchasing financial products they hadn't intended to, such as inexplicable investments and unwanted insurance policies. In another concerning incident, a netizen recounted their experience at the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China. They visited the bank to extend their savings card, only to discover that the lobby manager had secretly initiated the opening of digital renminbi and personal pension accounts using their mobile phone, even sending a verification code message without their knowledge. Former bank employees also chimed in, shedding light on certain questionable practices within the industry. They revealed that some older employees would persuade customers making substantial deposits to fill out financial management forms, as they received commissions for doing so. Many customers, especially the elderly, would unwittingly comply, while others who were more cautious were left feeling pressured. Is the CCP no longer pretending? Wang Yi publicly criticized Israel for 2 consecutive days. In a recent escalation of hostilities in the Middle East, the militant group Hamas initiated attacks on Israel, prompting a military response. In the wake of these events, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi publicly chastised Israel for what he considered an excessive use of force, suggesting that it went beyond the realm of self-defense. This stance has raised concerns among international analysts, who argue that China's support for such groups could lead to its increasing isolation on the global stage. During a phone call with Saudi Foreign Minister Faisal on October 14, Wang Yi reiterated his stance, urging Israel to cease what he deemed collective punishment of the people of Gaza. Furthermore, he voiced support for the establishment of a Palestinian state and expressed China's readiness to collaborate with Saudi Arabia and other Arab nations in pursuit of a 2-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. On the following day, during a conversation with the Iranian foreign minister, Wang Yi once again criticized Israel, albeit without explicitly naming the country, insisting that it should adhere to international law and humanitarian principles when exercising its right to self-defense. He emphasized that responding to violence with more violence would only exacerbate the situation. It's worth noting that Wang Yi had previously expressed support for Hamas, notably at a press conference held after the China-EU high-level strategic dialogue on October 13. During this event, he also reiterated his endorsement of the two-state theory, contending that the root cause of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict lay in the unfulfilled Palestinian desire for statehood. It's worth noting that Israel's actions have garnered support from Western liberal societies. While the CCP attempted to portray a neutral position, it publicly supported Hamas, both in rhetoric and actions, which triggered a surge in pro-Hamas and anti-Israel comments on CCP-affiliated social media platforms. Feng Chongyi, an expert on Chinese affairs at the University of Technology, Sydney, observed that the CCP's overt backing of Hamas marks a significant departure from its previous diplomatic approach and amounts to a de facto rupture of relations with Israel. Israel, historically viewed as a relatively friendly nation towards the CCP, has provided substantial high-tech support to China over the years. Following the Hamas incursion, Israel initially hoped for support from the CCP, only to be met with disappointment as the CCP openly sided with Hamas. Israeli officials expressed their frustration with this shift, with some suggesting that Israel may need to reconsider its relationship with Beijing. Feng Chongyi also questions the wisdom of the current Chinese Communist Party approach, as it appears to misread the dynamics in the Arab world. The CCP had hoped for significant support for Hamas within the Arab community, believing it could leverage this to its advantage. However, the reality is quite different. Despite verbal expressions of support, actual backing for Hamas within the Arab world remains limited, without tangible military or logistical support. If the CCP continues to champion this position, it risks further isolating itself on the global stage. Notably, some analysts speculate that the recent unusual escalation involving Hamas and Israel may have tacit support from the Chinese Communist Party and Russia. This theory posits that both China and Russia may have an interest in diverting the attention of Europe and the United States away from events in the Indo-Pacific region and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. There's another school of thought that links the CCP's apparent involvement in stirring Middle East tensions to its broader strategy, suggesting it could be part of a plan for the forced unification of Taiwan. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.